Baizhi of Baizhi in JP dub is very cool.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Also very hot. I'm not surprised if she would be a first Wuwa girl crush for some player. My brother in Christ of Baizhi best waifu, can I see you reporting in the comment section? So it's kinda sad that not many players continue to play her or just downright bench her after they got S and V. Which is understandable, these two are really good. But I don't believe numbers is the reason for players not to play her. I mean, look at Tanjin, Shishia, Alto and Calories main. Those units are objectively dealing less damage than their competitors, but a lot of players still stuck with them, purely because they are really fun to play and rewarding when mastered. But Baizhi doesn't have that dog in her. Senpai, nani ga attan desu ka? I thought it'd be funny to say it out loud, but it ended up being cringier than I thought. Oh, I really don't have a comedic talent. But Baizhi doesn't have the benefits of being a damage dealer. She doesn't have any flashy high damage move or hard to maintain / achieve win condition. She is just a healer, a starter healer at that. Being a starter unit, it makes sense that she has a very simple kit similar to her friend. Her core gameplay is literally if you have R4, R5 variation, this input string should be all you need to do to fill her up. If you are not lucky enough to get variation, this would be her alternative rotation. Or alternatively, from neutral position, relatively easy gameplay and input string aside, she has some nice trick up her sleeve, mainly her wife material. Her parry potential. Parry in this game isn't that hard, but it requires a bit of practice and find the right timing. That being said, I absolutely suck at using rectifier user for parrying. It is mainly my skill issue and a little bit of how, I assume, the developer made most of the rectifier user attack. Okay, side tangent time. Parry logic in coding is generally checking whether one active hitbox collides or overlaps with another active hitbox or not. So, any character that has an easy to understand hitbox will have an easier time for player to learn the timing. In major case, it is every single melee weapon users. If we see them attack, we know there is an active hitbox in front of them. But this isn't the case with gun and rectifiers. From my limited understanding and knowledge in game development, specifically in WoWa, they have a very similar logic to each other. When ranged character attack, they will generate something called a raycast. I don't know what is called in Unreal, I have zero idea of Unreal. Which is a straight line. Its sole purpose is to check whether it is hit with something or not. If it hits something, in this case an enemy, that attack will be registered as a hit and generate damage numbers and effect to indicate so. But here's the thing about this part. I have zero idea if the effect they generate has a hitbox or not, or work as a hit register or not. Same goes for both gun and catalyst. I mean, look at Mortify, I don't even know which part is the actual hit detector. Is it bullet a projectile or is it just a particle effect? If the raycast is a hit detector, what about Alto? A bullet is fundamentally different from Mortify and is actually a very fine projectile. It looks almost like hit scan. The point of this side tangent is I don't know if the raycast is the hit detector or the effect is. There are exceptions to the rule like Yinlin entire basic attack, Our light speed, Shopkeeper Forte, Encore when she out, and wouldn't you know it, the topic of this video is also one such exception. I assume this absolute unit is the hitbox when it attacks, but her normal attack is a bit weird to parry with since it depends on her Pokemon position, so it can be a bit inconsistent. Thus, the best way for her to parry a parryable attack is to yeet Reshiram into set attack. I mean, why wait for the hitbox to come to you when you can throw the hitbox into them? That said, you still have to practice to get the timing down because jumping and startup animation is a thing. Another thing about her I find interesting, but a lot of players is understandably don't like is her Euphonia. Senpai, 違います. Huh? Oh, it is Euphonia. Euphonia is easily, by far, the most unique take on buff in WoW. A pickup buff. I haven't seen Gacha do this for a while now. It also has a potential to cement her position as a gold standard healer. I mean, just look at what it provides. On pickup, Euphonia provides 15% attack buff to the unit that picked it up, and 12% ice damage buff to the entire team for 20 seconds. This is objectively a crazy numbers. Sure, Verena gives more damage on average, but the thing is, Verena's outro only lasts for 6 seconds, which can be way too short for certain units to fully utilize them, or if you have skill issue like me. Showkeepers have a crazy strong buff on her ultimate, but it is still limited within her ultimate range. Granted, it is a massive range. And by the virtue of Euphonia being a pickup buff, you have the added benefits of you can start the timer for this buff whenever you want by just go and pick it up. And this could have been the factor that gave her a niche or competitive edge to other healers. But sadly, that hasn't been the case. In practice, Euphonia ends up being a detriment to her relevancy because it is a pickup buff. To obtain this buff, you, the player, has to break the rhythm of major combat if you and boss or elite enemy move a lot and this place really far away from where Euphonia has spawned. And even if it spawned near your characters has to physically come in contact with this thing. Since this thing doesn't have magnetic pickup range, the pickup range isn't as bad as I remember for sure. I remember it was like you have to walk through it, but man, it still sucks that you have to break the rhythm for this buff. It is a really nice buff too. Now, another thing that hinders her is how slow her normal attack is. Shinjin? Was Byakushi normal attack always this fast?
すみませんですが、僕はわからないんです。プロデューサーさんは知っていますか?
มันก็เลยเขาเดินนะคุณน่ะคิดไปเอง Also, this is what mental effect feels like. Baizhi has no other method of gaining her forage stack beside her normal attack. A very weird design choice considering she has 2 ways to spend that stack, being her skill and whole normal attack. Jump attack? Nope. Dodge counter? Nope. Nothing. She gained nothing. It doesn't sound like that big of a deal, right? But in practice, this makes her gameplay feels too slow and clunky than she actually is. Let's say you want to gather her forte as fast as you can. You already attack X amount of time with her. X ranges from 1 to 3. And then you have to dodge the enemy attack, thus leading to a dodge counter. And because Baizhi has no cancel route that directly goes from dodge counter into normal attack, you have to wait until this animation ends before she can normal attack again. That is not to say there is no upside to her dodge counter. If you play her regularly or you pay attention to the input string section, you will notice that her core input string isn't enough to fill considerable gauge without high rank variation. So dodge counter absolutely help with this little issue. But just talk about bad part of any characters isn't my thing, so I want to suggest a possible buff to her too. Initially, I want to suggest essentially 9 buffs to her similar to what I did in Calculator Man and Genshin video, which in itself is an imitation to PGR Leap Upgrade. A shameless plug aside, if you don't want to watch that video or never play PGR, I'll give you a quick summary of Leap Upgrade. Leap Upgrade is a buff that comes in a form of 3 upgradable skills, aptly called Leap Skills. Each leap skill will focus on one specific part of character kit with a base effect that provide 1 buff to that kit and increase multiplier to that said part. Each leap skill comes with other 2 major upgrades that focus on a different aspect of the same part the leap skill aims to buff or fix. The 2 major upgrades unlock at level 9 and 18, which essentially translate to unlock one at half max skill and unlock another at a max skill level. But it is a bit hard considering her moveset is significantly simpler and easier to understand than those 2. And not to mention she has like 2 real flaws compared to Calories and Genshin. Also, I don't know if like 9 buff would turn her into a pseudo 5-star. On second thought, that might not be a bad idea. After Machu got quite a glow up, since Zero Nicolo is pretty much that, and having a starter being a melee unit is a good thing. I'll come up with the idea as much as I can while I'm writing this script. The first 2 soon-to-be mentioned buffs will be basic buff that everyone probably thinks of right now. Let's start off with her forte stack gaining method. Getting stacked on dodge counter is a given, but let's go a bit further. Let's make every normal attack variation give her a forte stack. This would include her swap in attack and jump attack. And to be a bit spicy, give her a if Baizhi successfully parry with normal attack, jump attack or intro skill, immediately gain 140 stack and reduce enemy vibration strength by 5%. Then the change for Euphonia. I like the idea of this thing being a pickup buff, as the utility of you can start a timer whenever you want is really appealing to me. So I won't just add its effect to her outro, but give it a magnetic range about this range. And to ensure that players will never be too far from Euphonia, I suggest when any active characters perform dodge attack, Euphonia will teleport closer to the active characters by 65% of the distance between active characters and Euphonia. Whenever Euphonia is teleport, refresh its duration. I feel like my wording will definitely cause some confusion. Sorry, English isn't my first language. So here's the visualization of what I want to happen. The 65% start from its current position. Also, when I say refresh its duration, I mean the pick-up duration itself, not the buff. And to top things off for Euphonia, I want to give it a little quality of life improvement. If Baizhi pick Euphonia up, Euphonia effect will not be triggered until the next resonator enter the field. Wuthering Wave is a fast game. It can get hectic and Baizhi accidentally pick it up herself, so a little quality of life improvement wouldn't hurt. As for the last leap skill, I don't really know what to suggest, to be honest. I feel like those 6 buffs already pushing her to be a really good unit, and her already doing what it is supposed to do. So for the last 3 buff, if we were to use a leap upgrade as a template, I'll leave it to your idea. Feel free to become an armchair game dev like what I'm doing right now. I would love to read your take on the last leap skill and its upgrade, or how you would like to change her. It doesn't have to be a leap upgrade format, it can be any buff you want to see her get. Admittedly, this video is just me wanting to talk about arguably one of the hottest female characters in Wuthering Waves. You can argue for who is the hottest female characters in WoWa, but for me, Baizhi is easily in the top 5 or top 3 depending on my mood. Also, to hopefully furthering Baizhi's agenda, if she become more popular, who knows, she might receive some buff or even a 5-star variant. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you so much for your time watching this video. I wish you a good night and a great day ahead of you. Hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye!